Hi, welcome to Productive C#. In this video, I want to talk about read-only ref in C# 7.2. Here I have a console application. I have a struct point that contains x and y and a constructor and a toString method. I have an array of points with only one point, 0, 0 in it, a method getPoint that returns the element at position 0 of this array of points, and then the main that's actually calling getPoint, setting x and y to 2, and then printing p and point 0. Okay, so this is basically what you basically always have in the language. So if you define a method that returns a struct like that, all the time you call this method getPoint, a copy of the point will be done in memory. So p in this case will always be a copy of point 0. So what you would expect here as a output is that, as you can see, only the first point is 2, 2, while the other one is still 0, 0, so it's not changed. So changing p doesn't change point 0. And the reason is because calling a point always return a copy. And this is basically the value type semantics that has always been present in C#. From C# 7, you could return a reference for a struct and also use ref here, ref returns when you actually return the value. And this still allows you to call getPoint like we are doing. And in this case, if I run the program again, nothing changed. So even if you added the ref keywords in here, the logic doesn't change. It still does a copy. If you really want to make sure that only a reference is returned, you need to actually explicitly call the method using ref and create a ref local variable like that. And now p is actually referencing point 0. So if you change p, you also change point 0. If I run this code now, both the points are 2, 2, okay? Because p and point 0 at this time are actually the same object, okay? So this has been added in C# 7, right? It's the ref returns and ref local. In C# 7.2, ref read-only has been added. What this allows you to do is to say, okay, instead of just returning a point, a reference to a point, I want to also prevent the caller from modifying the value that is returned. Because as you can see here, anyone actually can change the result that has been returned, and you might not want to do that, to allow that, right? So what you could do in C# 7.2 is to say, okay, I want to return a reference read-only of points, right? You still use ref here, but you say the callers should never be able to change the actual reference type. And as you can see here now, the code doesn't compile anymore. And the reason is because you need to be explicit and say this is a ref read-only local variable. And now you will get an error here because you are not allowed to change a reference to a read-only struct. So this is not possible anymore. To prove the point that it's still a reference, I could change x and y directly using point 0. Let me do that. Point y. And now, if I run this program, you still see 2, 2 printed twice because p still point to the p and point 0 still are pointing to the same object. But the callers is not anymore able to change the actual value of the reference object. Okay, so this is a small addition to the language, but it's quite welcome because now you can return references to structs, and so that you can prevent the caller from modifying returned values. So it's basically an additional level of encapsulation that you can have in your programs. And this is pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching.